Hey guys, thanks for tuning into Chaotic TV. We're bringing you more selected games from IronSquid Chapter 2. And this is Group G, Match 3, or something like that. And in the 3 o'clock position, or 2 o'clock position of Antigua Shipyard, you've already seen him speak. Good luck, have fun. He is the LGIM Blue Terran. He is MVP.
And his opponent for this match will be the pink Zerg player, spawning at the 9 o'clock position, 8:30, sometime. This is Evil Genius's Stephano.
Alright, so MVP not up to form in that last game. I wonder if he will do the same type of build this game. He has been favoring mech of late, but it's the way he gets the mech that really will determine whether or not he performs better in this game.
That said, this map incredibly favors Terran. This is one of Zerg's worst maps in the entire map pool. They can get to 3 bases, great. Everyone can get to 3 bases, but you can't go past that. So this is really rough for a Zerg player.
Yeah, you almost want to finish the game before the late game for a Zerg player.
Yeah, you see a lot of 2-base timing attacks on Zerg. Roach Baneling was popular for a long time. 2-base Fast Mutalisk, 2-base Infester. Like, just these are all the things you kind of see on this map. And I mean, we've even seen crazy things that people try to do that haven't worked. You saw Rhett go to like 9 bases and use just Zerglings, but
that did not work out.
No, but it was something different, and you can't blame him for trying. Here we see Command Center first from MVP, and that's, you know, as long as he can, you know, bunker up in this choke point, which is really easy for a Terran to do, he'll be okay doing this.
Yep, and we have the hatch first, and then 15 in the spawn pool for Stephano, and the back in the barracks behind the command center. So we're just going to have to wait and see what these two players do. First gas going down for both players, and Stephano sees everything, so he knows that there's going to be probably reactor something or other, or maybe if MVP decides to game genie it up, he'll throw out a freaking Reaper or something. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, we see Stephano going for gas. He's not going to do that 4 or 6 queen style, but it's one of the couple ways that you can get your early game going for Zerg, just to get your economy started faster, more mineral income. You skip gas altogether. Stephano is actually one of the very first Zerg players who did that. They would defend with, you know, no gas, queens, slow Zerglings, and if something crazy like Banshees came in, they would defend with an Evolution Chamber and Spore Crawlers. Like, he's just one of the first people who pioneered that kind of style, and it didn't even catch on for, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 months into Korea even, and then all of a sudden, oh, Reactor Hellions, what are we going to do against that? Let's just make 6 queens, and we can push creep out before they can deny it. And it turns out that Stephano was metagaming before there was a metagame. It's kind of crazy like that.
Well, it looks like MVP did not see that he has a Roach Warren, that Stephano has a Roach Warren, and the fact that Stephano isn't doing that high queen count means that his creep spread is going to suffer a little bit.
Yeah, but this Speedling Roach attack that he's going to come in with is going to be really strong against the early expansion for Terran. If MVP is planning on going mech, this will hit before his siege tank count gets to critical mass, and that'll be a big deal. And here we see a 3rd command center.
Oh wow, this is really going to be powerful.
Yeah, this attack, if he attacks relatively soon, which I think he's planning on, making 9 roaches right now, it's going to do some damage.
Oh wow. Yep, it doesn't have Zerg speed, but he doesn't really need it when his roaches are slow anyway. But we do see some Sims City coming down for IM MVP, and he's actually going to, if he builds a supply depot right here below his current one, then he will be completely walled off. There it goes, and we see the roaches just creeping across the map.
Yeah, and if he puts a Marauder in that bunker, holy cow.
How many roaches do we have on the map? 11 roaches and 2 lings, so just pretty much pure roaches. There's a little tiny choke behind this mineral line that only 1 roach can get through at a time.
Yeah,
so
but when he gets here, he's going to be facing 4 Hellions and 3 Marines. That's That's a really low army count to try to attack into. So
Wow.
Stephano, if he plays this right, he can have a good time with this.
3 base,
There's
3
the
command
SCVs
centers,
coming up
and 2
right away to
evays.
repair. Repairs on this bunker are holding for the time being. Stephano's focusing SCVs, so that's going to help him out with the economy here, and this is a really, really strong attack.
Yep.
The bunker's still alive, but he's killed most of the SCVs and a few of the Hellions. Most of the Hellions are still alive, but he cleared out the bunker, and all the Marines are gone.
He even got a mule out of it, so this lock-in right here puts all the roaches at the Hellions' mercy, but he will take out 2 of these supply depots that are oh so critical. And he's still taking out on
another Hellion, a
number of
couple more SCVs. Here he goes. He is
14 SCVs killed, and
he's
the supply
drowning
count.
up kindness and putting it on a macro hatch. He's not going to try to go for the kill here, which is, I guess, what a lot of people would say is smart. When you're ahead, get him more ahead. But as long as he's ready for a counterattack, he's going to be fine here.
Yeah.
That being said, here comes some roaches to just make sure he doesn't get counterattacked and lose. We see the creeps spraying out into the low ground, so that's a big win for the Zerg. That in itself. This macro hatch is interesting to me. He doesn't have enough income to produce roaches off of 3 hatcheries, especially now with these 2 evolution chambers coming down. But he can make Zerglings and then expand.
Yes, he certainly can. And I don't know if MVP's choice to run in there with all the Italians right after losing so many of them is such a good idea, because right now he's down 30 supply. Granted, these roaches and they're supply heavy, but they still are really good against Hellions. And until he gets enough siege things out, he really shouldn't be pushing forward.
Yeah, I think he was just peeking in to make sure that Stephano didn't just go straight into drones and completely neglect defending. If that happens, you can run by the queens and try to kill some drones, but Stephano, like I said, he was on point. He made enough roaches to make sure that didn't happen.
He sure did. And there's enough marauders right now for MVP that any roach rush coming in, or any like straggling roaches coming in, will be just wiped up. Roach speed is not being evolved by Stephano, and as I put my mouse cursor over it, he clicks it. So it is being evolved by Stephano. And we have Terran infantry and armor level 1 weapons coming out. Zerg missile attacks level 1 as well as Carapace. And it looks like Stephano might be going back into that Roach Hydra setup he had before. Maybe just pure roaches? Or what?
Well, that first attack puts Stephano so far ahead, he can do pretty much anything he wants. Even with 3 orbital commands, MVP is down by almost 30 workers here. And that's just it's putting Stephano's economy in such a good place that he can wait for that hatchery to come in, transfer some drones over, and be almost saturated. Well, let's see. Yeah, nearly completely saturated on minerals. So he can just make a whole ton of roaches. That macro hatchery now, with 3 bases mining, is going to let him produce roaches on that many bases.
Alright. Well, I'm waiting for MVP to move his 3rd orbital command over to the 3rd base, but I guess he doesn't...
He's too far down in SCVs still.
Really? I guess has he been building too much of an army of late? Like,
no, he lost that many SCVs early in the game.
He only lost 16. Why is he still down by that many? Like with 3
Because Zerg can make an economy really fast.
True.
He's got 5 mules going, so that's helping his economy. But he's still only at 44 SCVs, and that's not enough for more than 3 bases. Or 2 bases, sorry.
And we do see that Hydralisk den coming down, and we also have an infestation pit, mainly for hive tech, because he does want that 3-3 that he had that last game very quickly. No infestors needed, apparently, for Stephano.
Yeah, that mandatory upgrade for Hydralisks and group spines is it's going to make them viable.
And this creep spread is just creeping across the map again.
And this is the one time that Zerg can take a 4th base here without much of an issue is when they're so far ahead from the early game. He can take, now that he has creep all the way up to the high ground, he can hold the high ground and not worry about siege tanks on the Zelnaga tower killing his 4th. So Stephano's in a great spot in this game.
Yeah, creep tumors are almost like a map hack. And then they just show everything, except for those Invisi units. But Stephano really doesn't care about infestors in this match because he's not getting pathogen glands. He's simply going for this 3-3-3 missile attack type setup.
Yeah, he's going to rely on his Roach Hydra here to just overpower his opponent. Like I said, he knows that he's so far ahead. Like, MVP is just now moving his third base up, and he's going to run in and use the Roaches to soak up Marine and Siege Tank fire, and the Hydralisk is going to be all of the DPS he needs to overrun this army. That being said, he's up max, almost max, to 123 to supply, so this is going to be a really scary push for him as soon as this 2-2 finishes.
I wonder if MVP doesn't realize that he's oversaturated his main and his natural is not fully saturated.
I just think he hasn't had time to think about that yet. There's a lot going on. He's doing his best to set up to move into the late game here. But I think he knows he's outmatched in army, so he's trying to set up his position and his spreads and everything. And his spreads are really good. I mean, you look where his siege tanks are, even his Marines and Marauders. Everything is split really well. But I think the army on his front door here is just way too strong. And that being said, Stephano is clearing the way out to take his sixth base? Fifth. Yep, I can count.
He's got 2 macro hatch. He's got another macro hatch coming down right now. But the thing about the splitting is, I mean, it's great against infestors, but Stephano's not going infestors. So a nice even concave would be terrific for MVP right now. But he doesn't have that. He has the anti-infestor split, which is actually staggering his forces a little too much, I think.
I think he's just too used to playing against Korean Zergs, where the only thing you do is rush to lair and get infestors.
Yeah,
that being
very,
said,
very true. Mind gaming right there.
Stephano has Hydralisks, and MVP might not even know what that unit is at this point in the game. And also an Ultralisk Cavern just finishing here, and the Chitness plating, Chitinous. I can talk.
I know how
Anyhow.
to read. But yes, at least I am MVP is actually getting up towards that max. I didn't think he was going to get there, to be honest. The way this
well,
game is
Stephano kind of sat back and got his economy finished up.
He's really got a bank going, 4K, 1K. So
yeah, he's been maxed for a long time. He could have attacked with his max army a long time ago, as soon as 2-2 hit. And right now he's halfway through 3-3, so that gives you an idea of how long ago he could have attacked.
Charlemagne of the Swarm here is about to freaking roll over MVP, or even if he loses everything, he can remax in no time at all with 8 hatcheries.
1,500.
1, 2, 3,
8
4, 5,
hatches.
7 hatcheries.
Yeah.
Still,
And
it's ridiculous.
Here comes Adrenal Glands, Chitinous plating, 3-3 for missile end and ground armor. 3-3 is just starting for MVP, along with vehicle weapons level 2. He's trying, but the army is gonna, funnel from the main. I don't know why his entire army was in his main and not on the map, but yeah.
The pre-siege tanks are doing what they can against all of this, and Stephano is really lower in supply. But you know what? He's remaxing with 8 Ultralisks, and he has Adrenal Glands coming in, Chitinous plating, as you said, and a missile attack from 3. 50 Zerglings coming in. And he's just going to roll over everything.
Zerglings. And, he might lose this 4th base, maybe? Possibly.
These are only Zerglings coming out of there. If those were the Ultralisks coming out of those mid-map hatchery eggs, then it might have been in trouble. But since they're just Zerglings, it's not a big deal. He got really lucky on the AI choosing for.
And MVP is going to have 10 Marauders against 10 Ultras.
Big surround on MVP's units by Stephano, and the Ultras are coming in as best they can, but the Hydralisks are doing what they can to take out these medevacs.
Yeah, with this creep spread, it just makes Ultralisks that much more effective. You don't see a lot, and here he's going to drop his nearly dead units on the hatchery that's not quite made yet, and kill a lone helpless queen.
As Stephano rolls into the main base, 3rd base, and takes his Ultralisks to task on that planetary. Look at how much stuff
he has
dying.
moved all his Ultralisks onto that army and planetary, and the rest of his stuff he's just doing nothing with, running on the map a little bit, and I don't know. He's running it all the way back to defend the drop in his, 3rd base.
Yeah, and that got cleaned up pretty good. So now he's up 100 supply, and he's just gonna roll over MVP. MVP getting really outplayed by a non-Korean, and I think it was because he was so expecting infestor play. He even had a missile turret up front to detect burrowed infestors, and he got metagamed by the metagame.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah. So Stephano just
taking
taking him. Yeah, he took the
2-0.
series 2-0 against one of the best Terrans in the world, who just couldn't keep up.
He's like a 600-time GSL champion or something.
Yeah, you should see his shirt. It's just all bling.
That's true.
All those pins.
And he is like the biggest rock star in South Korea, which I guess is saying something if you're an esports fan.
He even looks like Psy. So, from Chaotic TV, we were happy to bring you this series, and these two really big names. And I'm KO.
This is Eclipse. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Appreciate it. Y'all have a good night. Cheers.